Hello, my name is Dominic Hillesheim, and today I will be presenting my final presentation, which is on the ethics of commentary. So, have you ever been watching a sporting event on TV or listening to it on the radio and you heard the commentator say something where you're like, maybe he or she shouldn't have said that, or wow, that was kind of harsh? Well, my presentation is on the ethics behind the things that commentators say and the consequences that they may face or the consequences that what they say to the subjects, what those subjects might face because of what they say. So I'll be discussing what unethical commentary is and give a few examples of unethical commentary and hopefully a solution that will fix this problem. So although the majority of the time spent commentating on an event focuses on what the viewers can see on the field, the subjective opinions of the announcers can be extremely offensive and harmful to those subjects that are being talked about. So to more fully understand the concept, I'll give you a definition of what commentary is. So commentary is the narration of what is happening on the screen, of what the event is showing. So, and according to the Sports Management Degree Guide, commentators have two goals. Sports broadcasters have the overall responsibility to put actions on the field and stories from inside the locker room into words that the viewers or listeners will enjoy. So the definition states that they need to talk about what is going on and then also talk about other things that are happening with the team, with the event, that will fill the open air time that isn't always talked about or isn't always talking about what is happening in the game or the event. So when you think of commentary, it happens mostly with a team of two people. So there's a color commentator, and a play-by-play commentator. So the play-by-play commentator is usually fully educated. They have a degree in broadcasting, journalism, public speaking, something like that, and they talk about what is happening consistently. So they're the ones that do the majority of the talking, whereas the color commentator, a lot of the times, is not educated in this field. They're maybe a former professional athlete or a former coach that was an expert on the field, but not necessarily in the booth. And this commentary, the things that they talk about, becomes unethical when they say something that is unwanted by the subject. So something that they don't want them to say. That can be, about their appearance, about something with their family, harsh opinions, and really anything like that that is unwanted by these subjects can be considered unethical, definitely offensive. So it is unethical because it goes against Kant's categorical imperative. So these commentators may not act with a sense of morality. They should know that they shouldn't talk like this because they definitely wouldn't want somebody to talk about them or their play or their family like this. So that's when it becomes unethical, is when they say something that is unwanted. So when you're thinking about this, my topic, you might think, well, I don't really know any examples of when this occurs. So I'll give you a few examples to hopefully help you understand the concept a little bit better. So the first example has to do with a former Major League Baseball player. His name is Roy Halladay, and just a few years ago he passed away in a plane crash. So he was actually the one that was flying the plane, and when he died he left his wife and two kids behind. So just like any major news event, a lot of sports broadcasting networks like ESPN, the MLB Network, different radio stations were covering the topic. Even like Fox News, CNN, they covered the topic as well, just because it was pretty big news. He was a pretty famous guy, so they all had like tribute films, highlight films. We're just sharing different stories about him, trying to have him leave a legacy and just really tell what he was all about. And all of that went over really well, except for one Boston radio station, one Boston host by the name of Felger, his last name was. So according to the Washington Post, when he was talking about the event, he called Halladay a moron and a jackass. He said that he should have acted differently and thought about his actions a little bit more because he shouldn't have left his family behind like that. So these comments, obviously very offensive, also go against Kant's ethical rules where the host, Felger, probably doesn't want anyone else talking about him that way. He definitely shouldn't have talked about Holiday that way, and should have acted with just a sense of morality when he was like talking with the public. So this scenario, it's unknown if Holiday's family was directly affected by what Felger had to say, but this next example, there was somebody that was directly affected by what was said. So a lot of you probably know Selena Gomez. I read an article where she talked about when she was young in her career, a lot of magazines, critics were talking about her on the front page of magazines. There were body shaming tactics that talked about how fat she was and things like that. And she actually had to go to counseling and spend her own money and her own time, trying to fix this problem. So it actually halted her career. Really, these words really caused her a problem in her life. So this is obviously something that is alive and well. So although these are just two examples, it happens every day, and the consequences are out there for these subjects. So my solution for this would just be to increase education. So like I said before, a lot of the times these color commentators are not educated. So for the first 6 months of these new commentators' careers, they would go to what is like a university where they would learn for the first 4 months in a classroom setting, and for the last 2 months a field experience setting. So they would actually go and commentate. They would just not be produced live to audiences. So they would just go back and study those different events and how they're talking about them. They would study those for the 2 months and hopefully learn so much that they wouldn't make those same consequences in the future. So obviously, like I said, this problem is alive and well, and we need to do something about it, and my solution is definitely to further educate the commentators. So the current system of training and education is clearly not working, as this problem keeps happening all the time. So education is my solution. So my call to action for all of us would be, I know I definitely wouldn't want a commentator talking about me like this on a worldwide setting. So the ethical issue, like I said, is alive and well. So the education and training program will theoretically, solve this problem. So it's definitely our job to go out into the world and discuss that this problem is occurring and that it is time for a change, and the time is now.